Hi, welcome everybody to another one of my tutorials, and this one is using Adobe Photoshop, and I'm going to demonstrate how to separate the subject in this image here. Let me click off the channel I'm showing to separate the subject here from the background. And this photo was contributed by Chris and Doug, my friends on Google Plus, who are photographers, and they wanted me to do a challenging channel separations, demonstrating channel separations with Photoshop. And what they wanted is how can we get this lady separated from the background with the hair and the veil, which is going to be the really tough part. But they wanted me to show how to do this using channels. So I'm going to try to do that. But anyway, I wanted to point out the areas that are going to really be tough. If you look right here, up here is where the veil in the background, and the color is almost identical. Back here where her hair is, that's not so hard. And up here it's going to be kind of difficult because the white of the veil in the background, a lot of instances they match up pretty close. So it's going to be tough, and I told them I would do it and show using the channels, creating alphas with the channels to create a mask to separate her from the background. But I wanted to say a little something, wanted to mention a little something about RGB. Kind of explain that a little bit. The Rgb format is one of the most common for digital cameras, and it's a color scheme where you have three primary colors: red, green, and blue, and they're all 8-bit, which means there's as many as 256 colors can be made. Shades of red, 256 shades of blue, 256 shades of green. And so when you take three together and you do some math, you do what's called, you want to know how many possible colors are possible with that many, variations. You get a big number, and it's 16 million something colors, and it comes down to 2 to the 24th power, which is a very large number. But those are all the possible colors due to the fact that each channel has a possible 256 possible shades or hues or saturations for all three channels. So that's why we got these nice pretty pictures here in Photoshop. But anyway, we're going to go over here. We got the background copy selected. It's the one we want to work on. And what we're going to do, we're going to go over and look at our channels. And as you can see, if we turn off the RGB channel here, and just look at the red, say, for instance. Well, we're looking at this intensity map showing how much red information is in this channel. And where it's dark, there's a lot of red, and where it's lighter, there's not as much red. And if there's white, then there's no red in that image. So we'll go ahead and just look at the green channel and see what we got. Well, on the green channel, there's a lot of green information back here where our hair is, and so on. So we got here with the blue as well. It's a grayscale map or intensity map of all the green information in the channel. Now you put them all together and you get this really nice pretty color image, which contains all three of those channels combined, which gives you the flesh tones and all the other pretty colors that go along with it. So anyway, what I was going to do is we're going to try to create an alpha. We want to separate her out. We don't necessarily want to use a pen tool or sit here with a magnetic lasso or whatever. We're going to try to do something quick and dirty. So I tried this, and this is my technique. Now there's probably a lot of ways you can do this, but this is what I did. I went to the red channel first off, and we'll zoom in here a little bit. We can see where the veil is going to be really tough. Can't really tell where the edge of the veil is in relationship when it comes down to right over her eye there. We can't really tell what that is. Now at the top, over here, it's not quite apparent. Now the hair back here is not going to be so hard. We can handle that. But we can just look and see the veil. It's not as... Okay, that's going to be the tough place right in here, right above her eyebrow. That's where it's going to do. So what I tried to do is I went here and I've got in the red channel, which is a grayscale image, and I did some adjustments to maybe bring out where that veil is, exactly where it is. So I did invert it. Now the inversion gives you a little more information. Not quite, but now you can see where the veil is. And you can almost, if you don't want to guess it, but a little too close there. If you wanted to guess it, you could probably go along down here. Okay. But I think we can extract a little more information out of this image. So we're going to undo that. And then we're going to go over here. I looked at this adjustment, which is equalize. And that makes things really crisp. And let's zoom in here again. So now we can almost see where the veil is falling. So let's try inverting this and see if that gives us a little bit more. That's getting pretty close. That is getting pretty close. So we can just about see a faint outline of that veil. Okay, that's going to be important. So we're going to try something else here. You can also go into your selection and you can do a color range adjustment, and this might not help, but you can do this fuzziness slider. It looks like it's going to be too dark. That's probably not going to work, but we'll do an okay and see what we get. Now you see the marching ants there? That's what it's made a selection for us. If you hit Q on your keyboard, you can see. Now that's a lot to deal with. So we're going to Control D will unselect it, and we're going to go Control Z, Alt Control Z, since we went more than one step back. So now we're back to where we were initially. Let's see, we step backward again. So we're back to our red channel again. Okay, so it looks like I'm going to have to maybe do another type of adjustment here. It was on the wrong layer. We can go back to our image here. And we're going to equalize it. And then we're going to invert it. So from here we got a little more to do with. We'll try the magic wand here. And we'll see what we can get. Now we got the hair. And our tolerance, maybe if we undo that and bring up the tolerance a little bit more. Let's do it in front of the veil. That's not going to do it. We might have to lower it. See if we can get anything to lower it. And it's going to be really tough getting close with this. So we're going to back up here. I think 80 was really good. We'll go a little higher than 80. We'll go up to 100. Okay, we're getting something with the hair. We're getting close with the hair, but it's really tough. This area here, where it's the colors are almost identical. So let's hit Q and see what we got on that quick mask. We may have to we may have to go in here. I think what we're going to have to do is from this point on, we're going to have to go to quick mask, because it's going to be really tough to go in there and just do a magic wand selection. Although we can try doing a point sample. Let's see if that's going to do anything. That's still not going to get us where we want. So we're going to do the we're going to do this. Maybe we can try sample all layers. That's not going to work. So we're going to go with the contiguous anti-alias, and we're just going to go. We're going to start back here, and from here in, I'm just going to use quick mask, which it's going to require a little patience. That's all it is to it. It's just you have to take your time and do it. So now when you're in the quick masking mode, you can click on B, and you're in brush mode. You'll have a choice, either black or white, or gray shade colors. Because what we're doing here, we're adding to this mask, which I've got the color chip set for this purple color. I'm going to change that a little bit. I'm going to change another color here. We're going to use a kind of a lime green and say OK. So hit Q again. So we're going to use this lime green color. Yeah, I don't know. It's, you know, the choice is up to you. So what we're going to do, we're just going to zoom in, and we're going to get into that tough area where we previously were able to see just a little bit of the veil there. So you just hit B, and I like to select a brush. And it's for the time being a kind of a solid brush, and you can go over to your brush presets over here. If you want to have shape dynamics, well, we'll just do that. We'll have our shape dynamics, and pen pressure, that's what I normally use. So we'll click out of that, go back to our pen here, minimize that. So this is where the problem area is. And we're just going in, we're just going to paint. I mean, if you're going to edit photos, you might as well, you know, it's not going to be all one click and a filter. You're going to have to spend some time just really getting in there and, you know, painting. I mean, Adobe Photoshop is a painting application also, so that's why I emphasize that. Now it's always handy here, you can hit R so you can rotate your canvas. I found one of the cooler aspects of Photoshop, one of the features. I think it's been in since CS4. We're just going to go ahead and really tackle this top area. This is where it's hard to get at. You know, we couldn't really tell the difference between the veil's color and the background. So we're going to really tackle that area. We're just going to emphasize that for now. And rotate, go back and reset our view a little bit. And the hand and these other areas in the hair, it's almost done for us. So we'll get over here to the other part of the veil. And we'll go up here. Just going ahead and plug this in. And then I'm going to zoom in again. Yep. So it looks like I can see the veil over here. And go back to brush. Because what I'm going to do here, I'm just trying to go around these edges, and I'm going to fill this in with my bucket tool. And there's the veil there. We can see the veil because that more pattern it creates, so that gives us a good hint exactly what the veil is. We kind of fill this in here. And so this wasn't so difficult here. We could see where the more effect was, and we could tell where the veil was at. So we got some, looks like part of the veil here, and we got a few details down here. I don't know if it's feathers or hair, what it is exactly. But it looks like there is a gap. Yeah, that's a gap. And you can scrubby zoom in here, real close. Get in there with a brush. Maybe decrease the size a little bit. We should be able to get a pretty good mask here. I mean, this is a very tough photo. And I leave it to Chris and Doug to pick a really tough one for me to do. So I'm taking them on. I'm going to take them on. So, and so we just want to kind of quickly get the areas that are going to give us the most trouble. I think we got some hair back here. Get our brush size down a little bit. I like this light green color here. This is really shows up really well. What we're going to work on here. Do that. Do that. Okay, we got now. What you can do, if you just hit X, that flips over to white. So you'll be essentially erasing out the mask here. So you can get rid of that little bit of noise there. We want to hit the areas that, like here on the shoulder, this is a place where we want to isolate. Just go back to B, paint in the white, as it would be, which is represented by the light green. And then we get a brush size up here and we can knock this out. That's the background. That's the background. I'm going to try to not spend all day here doing this, so we want to get this area here, this negative space here. Let me get back to the marching ants temporarily. Okay. Let's see where I'm at. You can hit the Q key there to go back to the marching ants temporarily. If you're not quite sure where you're at. If you need to, you can always double click on this and maybe lower the opacity a little bit. That helps. But I like my opacity up, so I'm going to take it back up here. And just a little bit more. Now we might want to change it here, just a tad. We'll shave it down to 38. There we go. You gotta be able to know these shortcut keys so you can just jump from one thing to the next. So you don't, like I say, I don't want to spend all day on this. So handy to know the shortcut keys for Photoshop and just about any other software you might use. Mainly I'll zoom in here on these fingers and we'll hit X, B, go back to our black, hit X, go to our white, get some close detail on the fingers there. Moving right along, and we've got a little area that we don't want masked there. And sometimes, well, actually, you know, this would be a good time to get that opacity down. And we'll go back to Q here. And you just got a faint, make sure we get the details on those fingers. Right here. And flip back to our white, get rid of this stuff. And a spacebar drag, you know, for your hand tool. We can go back to our marching ants and see where that just below the chin there, see where that's at. We can go in. Marching ants will tell us. Okay, so, and then go up around the lips. Let's go back to the marching ants temporarily. Let's zoom out. So I'm getting kind of lost here. And that's Control plus, where you can hit Z and get in there. I'm a little bit lost where the hand connects. Okay, so we want to do our brush and the white. We got to go back in and fill in the face. And what I'm going to do, this would be a good point to start it at. Go back to your black, and let's make an outline, because we want to mask her out. So while we've already got these edges determined here, we'll go ahead and get those ready to fill. We know where everything is, especially on the hand. We're going to have to fill all this in because the hand and face are kind of connected here. And I believe we can start doing an outline here. See it, eventually we want to get this where we can close this up and just dump our bucket tool in there and tighten it up. We can do an outline on the hand. Right here. There we go. Yeah, that's going to be connect. So now we want to go in and maybe get some other areas out. Flip back to X. Get rid of this. This. Zoom in. We can make an outline here. Do this. Now we can set up another outline here for the hand arm. so. Flip back to the black. Do this. Alright. Zoom out there. Looks like we're getting pretty close. I need to look at the marching ants one more time. We got an area right down here that needs to be taken care of. That's where breast and the foreground meet, or the background rather. So we can go in and bring down our opacity, and we can see through this a little bit. Hit Q, and we can do that. And I'm just going to take my white brush and hit X, go to B. We're going to kind of sketch in that area, or white it out, or eliminate it. And down here. And now we go back up with our opacity. Q. Now we can go in and pretty much erase this. Of course, we need to hit our brush, size up the brush a little bit. That's that. Just get rid of all this. Here, right here, and we can zoom in and refine this a little bit. I do see an edge there, so we can work on. Like so. And I think next time I do a long video like this, I'm gonna have some music in the background, but you gotta be careful. I don't want to get any copyright snags. Or maybe that's not a good idea. I have to get the license. Now let's go back to our marching ants. Just zoom out. See where we're going. Okay. So it looks like we're just about ready to do a bucket fill. We've got to get back here, and that's going to be in a situation where we're going to lower our opacity again. Hit Q, and we're going to scrub zoom in there, and we're going to go to our brush tool, X for the white, the size up just a tad, trying to break out this area here. And we've got the opacity on the color so we can see through. And at least we can kind of rough in. We can go back with the opacity. We can go back and review it with the marching ants, etc. So I mean, it's just things you have to do. And you know the shortcut keys. Lots. Got to memorize the shortcut keys. Alright, we still got some noise here, so we're going to go back up with our opacity. And hit Q. We got the white. Erasing. And let's do the marching ants. We're pretty doggone close. And also, well, you can do this. You can go to your lasso tool at this point if you want. And you have to have the right button here. I think I need to add, you can do this number. And of course you can zoom in. And you can do your, this is L for lasso. And you can do this number here. But make sure you got the add button on. Now let's go back and see. You can use all the different things. We've got a little place here. that, like so. That's the L for lasso. And make sure you have the little box up here checked to add to the selection. That's important. Do this number here and circle that little area there. And if you really just want to get really picky, you can get in real close. L, and we can add a little bit to that one. Now we're going to zoom out. Control 0, and we'll go back to our quick mask. We're just about ready here to do a fill over this area here. Now I think we have to go in here. We're going to zoom in on this part here. We haven't got an outline on that. We can clean this up a little bit. So go back, hit X, flip back to our black, and B for brush, as always. L for lasso, M for marquee, which is your square marquee here, and the eyedropper is I. If you want to select a color and match up, I for eyedropper. Control D, if you got a selection, Control D will clear the selection. So, a few little shortcuts there you might want to know. New layer is Control L. No, it's Shift Control N. Shift Control N. It's Control L in Illustrator. It's Shift Control N. Shift Control N for new layer in Photoshop. And of course, there's Control X for cut, Control V for paste, Control C for copy, Control A for select all. There's a few of them there. So now we're going to keep working with our brush until I make sure we can just dump all our mask in. I'm going to zoom in a little bit more. And go back to our brush tool. Right here. Oop. I don't want to get that. That was area we wanted to keep it open. But you know, we're not totally committed. We haven't even made a mask yet, so if it's not the right area, if it's not a loop, or we don't want to fill, or we do want to fill, we're not even close to committing to a mask and actually separating the subject out from the background. So we can make this a little bigger, fill all this in. So I think we can do a fill at this point. Well, looks like I have any holes, any open spaces. So we're going to try that. We're going to use our W for magic wand, and doesn't look like we have any holes. So we're going to go to G, which is also the gradient or paint bucket in this case, and just fill all that in. So bam, right there. Now, depending on the brush setting, you might have a gap. So you can always zoom in and check that out. So you see these little fine gaps. You need to go in and clean those up with your brush tool. Like so. And see, we're not even we can make refinements on this. We're not totally done. I think that was a loop, so we're just going to erase this. We can always go back, and so we got an area here that needs to be accent, size down. The size down keys for the brushes are the square brackets right over there by the P, the left and right square brackets. So those are good shortcuts to know as well. Go up and down on your brush size. Just tap it. So we'll go in here, and we got some gaps in here. Looks like this should come out pretty good. Maybe not 100%, but technique is technique, and hopefully you'll find this technique useful when you're working in Photoshop. We'll back out, Control minus, and we'll kind of go over it a little bit. Zoom in. We've got some a little bit lacking there. We've got a little gap there. Left square bracket, size down. Just tap it. Of course, the space bar, hold it down and drag, and then you get the hand tool. Press size down, get in and get this area here, right here, right here, and here. This may not come out perfect the first time, but also Control S once in a while. Even though Photoshop has the automatic backup every 10 minutes, you can always, when you're thinking about it and you might have to get up and do something else, Control S, save your work. That's important too. Save off. Even though Photoshop is pretty stable nowadays, and it doesn't really, I haven't had much trouble with it, but there's always assurance with Control S. You can save at any point. You don't have to redo all this stuff. If you're not making much money doing Photoshop, that might be a good idea. Yeah. Or if you're making no money, it's a good idea too. We got a little noise here. You can see some other areas. I'm hitting the X key, just switching back to my black. After a while, it just gets to be kind of a normal thing to do. You don't even really have to think about it when you're doing that. Size down my tool. Get in here. Got a little sharp edge there on that painting, on that mask. And we go back to X. Looks like we went over here a little bit. And right here. And let's kind of round that out a little bit. And switch back to X. Cover that little shadow. Or that blur. I'll smooth this out a little bit. Right here. Like so. Now we're going to go out and see what we got. So I think looks like if you go over to the quick mask and you hold down Alt and click on it, well, it's not going to show me. But anyway, we'll go up to our layer here, and we'll get out of the, let's see, the marching ants. So we'll see what we'll do. We'll hit the mask button, see what we got. So it looks like we got a, of course, actually, Control Z. We want to copy this image here. Right here like this. We don't want to look at that one right now. And now we're going to hit the button down here and see what we got. And you can go over here and inverse the image just by going to invert. And it looks like we got a pretty so it looks like our mask has got some stuff in it. So when you're in your layers up here, you can hold down the Alt key and click on that. And I don't know what I saw about that. Let me zoom in. Oh, I see some white spaces down here. That's what it is. So we're going to have to paint in on that. Go down to our brush tool. And we're in the mask, so you can see the marquee around the selection. So we can paint in the mask now with the black. And we might want to do a little feathering on this as well. And we got something we missed here. So now we're going to go back to our image. And we're going to invert it again. Okay, that looks okay. That's I'm going to call that good for this video anyway. So thanks for watching the video, and I'll be making more in the future. There's obviously you can go in here if you want to, and you can do a blur on it. You can do that also. You can blur a little bit if you don't like it. Soften it up a little bit. But anyway, I'm going to call it for this video, and thanks for watching my video. This was about the longest one I made. But anyway, I said I would do this video, so I did it. So thanks for watching, and I'm out of here.